right now, the key thing is that we have had the opportunity, we've brought on board a new service provider, which we are very excited about. But at the same point in time, we wanted to try and also engage and move forward with the introduction of this in a way that ultimately gave everybody the ability to start developing, building, and seeing that at the cornerstone of what we're always trying to do is establish with the relationship. And so we're taking a little bit different of an approach this time, to where we've invited in and asked Jeff Solomon from AI and FreePromo Tips to moderate the introduction of Anish and Binated. We're also, honestly, and it's kind of an honor, we're deeply grateful to the fact that Rod Brown from Made to Order was willing to come in and actually speak as a referral, somebody who's been doing business with Binated, and speak on their behalf and give everybody an idea on some of the capabilities that the company has on a whole. But what we're going to end up doing right now is that, one, I know we've muted everybody out. Ian will be monitoring out the webinar from the chat session. So if anybody's got a question, please, by all means, put it into the chat session. It gives us a chance to capture. So if we don't address it during the webinar itself, we'll certainly be able to come back and follow up. But then beyond that, it's mainly about making sure that you guys get the answers, the information, everything that you need about Binated, which we're excited for. So I'm going to turn this over now to the capable hands of Mr. Solomon, and I look forward to talking to you guys here in a little bit.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for allowing me to join this time with Promo EQP people, and also the rest of the industry, because we're so excited about this. We want to make sure that everybody is aware of what's happening with Binated. And look, I've been around a long time. I know I look young, but I've been around a long time, and we know that artwork services are a challenge. And how many of you have gotten the thing from your client? It's like, you ask for artwork, and it's like, oh yes, I do have artwork, and here it is. This is my logo. It's right here. And then you have to deal with getting it vectorized, and also digitizing is a big thing. And you know, there are many service providers. And so I asked the question, why Binated? And we've had the privilege of getting to know Anish over the last bit of time, and the things that they've created to make it easy for distributors and more profitable for distributors. And to speak to that a little bit is somebody who's used Binated quite a bit, super successful guy, has led a team that has orchestrated over $500 million, that'd be with a B, dollars worth of business with Made to Order. Rod's an amazing guy. Rod, would you please speak to us about this?
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I'll just say that it was about 7 or 8 years ago that I got involved with Binated and Anish and his team. And I was exploring a number of different offshore partners to be using, not just for artwork, but we wanted to go far beyond that into having virtual assistants and even some accounting back office work for us. And when I went to a number of the big names in the business, they wanted me to kind of fill out a 17-page sort of RFP for what it was that I wanted. And if you know me, I have an ADD personality. I don't fill out 17-page things. I want to talk to the bastard and say, here's what I want. Can you build this for me, make it happen? And Anish's response was, hey, let me fly my team over there and embed with you for a week. And so that's what they did. And they went around our office and worked with all of our people, from accounting to order processing, to order management, to artwork, to salespeople, and built a very robust integration for us. We started with artwork because artwork is the sort of the simplest, low-hanging fruit, but we have since evolved into where Anish and Binated is a strategic offshore partner for us. It would be hard for us to run our company without them anymore. So that's just a quick overview. I'm happy to take any calls from any of you offline at any point in time. I have stepped down from running the company now after 45 years of selling promotional products. I'm still the chairman of the board, but I don't run the company anymore. Love to talk to any of you about outsourcing if that's something you'd want to pursue. And with that, I'll kick it back to Jeremy.
And we're just going to move right into introducing Anish. And Anish, why don't you go ahead and give us a little overview of how simple this is to use?
Yeah. So just talking about Binated and the services, what we have done in this portal is
we made the entire workflow as simple as possible. So if you look at our screens, you go to binated.com, log in, they'll pop up the screen. Once you are in the screen, what you have to do is, if you're not registered, you can click on sign up. It's a simple order form, just fill in all the details like emails, password, full name, the company details. Once you fill in that, then you can, you move into the registration. So the moment you registered, it sends out an email welcoming, saying that you are already in the system. This system is more of an on-demand kind of graphic services. So we would want every information to be filled in. Once you fill in the information, it allows you to enter the credit card information as well. Now, the reason why we wanted to do that is just makes it's a pay as you go kind of a project. So you come in the system, you fill in all the registration, you place an order. Once you place order, once you process it, it gets billed automatically. So Jimmy, if you can go back in the sign in, it's so the moment you log in, this is what you see it. If you look at this system right now, it has kind of three kind of splits. The first one on the top is top bar, which sees you the company information, the search profiles. We'll come back on that later, but the sidebar is more about defining how the workflow is working. So if you look at the sidebar, it's as simple. There are two segments in this. Now, the first segment is the decoration we call decoration. It's a standard flow. Anything that comes into the system is all been listed as part of it. But if you're unsure about the pricing structure, we allow you to come and give a quote. So that's where the quote starts. So we can go into the new decoration. So if you look at the new decoration, what we have done today is we opened up kind of 6 different levels of decorations being opened into it. So talking a bit about this system. Now, this system is an API based system. It's a cloud hosted in cloud. It works on cross platforms. It's available on your mobile, it's on your tabs. You can use anywhere you want it. So going back into it, if you look at it, it's a very known services that you can see in the market, like vector, virtuals, creative. All of those commonly used decorations is been part of the system right now. So Jimmy, if you can click on the vector. So each of these blocks represents that particular type of decorations. You come in, it's a simple order form. There are 2 segments here. If you look at the job decoration type, if you're sure that you wanted to get an order to be processed, you select new. There is 2 types of deliveries that we offer today. One is next day services. Another one is the same day services. Next day services is typically a 24 hours turnaround time. Same day is an 8-hour delivery. So if anything that you need to be rushed out and to be processed, you pick up that same day services. Then you keep entering all the informations here. You can just go down. Yeah. And you also let us know what file format you want, and you drag and drop the file, you're done here. Yeah. So it also sends out alerts. So whatever email address you use to register, it'll also send you a confirmation saying that the order is placed in the system. So once an order is placed, the workflow could pretty much start. So anything that is in the process in our system, you'll be under the in progress tab. It lists the order details. If you click on that, it pops up the order details that is been filled in the order. You can click any of those. Yeah. So it's a simple structured order form which tells you exactly what is been filled into it, your inputs that is been attached into it. So everything is been in the system right now. And it also lists you the activity logs, when is it placed, what progress it is. So one of the things that I wanted to mention in this system is The system that you see is what is being used by every person in our organization. So it's a transparent system. It's a more live process. So anytime an order is in the process, if a designer start working on it, it just gives you an immediate status change. So it's one single system. Every person is touching the same system. So there's nothing different. So when an order is completed, it will fall under the complete segment. Here you can download, if you can click on any of these, you can, it will, the files are placed here as part of the output. You can download the files individually, or if there is actually a button there on top, it can also download everything into one group. If you One of the things that I wanted to mention here as part of the output kit, especially when it comes to an embroidery digitizing, we run every single order as part of the process. So we run, when we run, we use burden machines to run the sample. It runs on an actual garment, actual stitch. We use Madura as a thread. So you can use this as pretty much as a proofing system where you can give it to a customer to show them that this is how the output is been done. So it's not a true view, it's an actual thread and garment being used in. So you can, it's a real-time example that you can show it to your end customer. Okay. So if you there are a few more buttons that I want to quickly, give, if you can stay there. The request change. So something is wrong, something is you wanted the changes to be made. You click on that button, it pops up the window where you can add the comments that you want to be. You can drag and drop a file that needs to be, like, for example, something is not right, you can annotate, you can send it back to us. So it allows you to place a revision right in the same segment itself. That's an option. You don't like it. So if you see the red buttons, there are two red buttons as well. So this system is more being used. You can just close it. Now, for example, if you're done with the order, you don't want to do anything further, you can actually archive a job. So one of the things that we've worked with Promo EQP is this system is a cloud-based system. It can hold, all your files in one single location. It is readily accessible. If you feel that you're done with the job, you can go back and hit archive. What it means is it will move an order from the completed stage to an archive mode, so it can be retrieved any point of time. And the last button is on the side is an invoice button, which brings up all the details related to it. So we tightly integrated everything to Stripe. So once the payment is done, the invoice status will automatically change to paid. Going back into the decoration menu, I'll quickly run through those on hold. Now, on hold is when you place an order, we need some additional information to be processed. We will place those orders on hold. So it'll come back and, sit in on hold tray, which need additional information from your end to process. So like, for example, here in this case, there's no attachment. I can go back into resolve. So all the job details on top of that, there is a functional, buttons been added for each of these tasks. For example, if it's on hold, you add the information, you add it on it, you're done with that. Okay. Archive, we spoke about archive. Now, theme decoration is something that it's a function that it's been introduced. For example, in your company, there are 5 people using this particular portal. If X is not available, what it means for the team is it's a collaboration of all those work being done for the company under one roof. So if one user is not available on a particular day, you can still retrieve those files and work on it. If you wanted to send it to a supplier, if you want to take quick proofing to be done, those all been part of the team decoration. The last menu on that is the quotes. Quotes are pretty much simple. When you place an order, when you place a quote request, everything comes here. So if you can click on that, it tells you exactly the quoted pricing on top of it. If you like the quote, you say, okay, it is approved. Now you want to know the details of what is consisted in that $11, you can come here and approve it. Now the code engine works in a very fixed manner that anything that you place as a code, once you send you a price back, you agree on it, it's fine. If you wanted changes to be done, for example, the height is being changed from 1 inch to 2 inches, then you need to make a request modification, which means that it'll send out another request for the requoting. Okay, so code pretty much 4 menus. Once we sent you a code back, it comes under the need approval. Anything that you requested of a code which is in the progress will come under the requested. Once the code is approved, those line items will start showing up under the approved. And once it is rejected, it is under the reject. So it's a very simple system, but we try to build in almost all the complexities into it. So Jimmy, if you can go back into the in progress, so there are clients that we work today that they need an artwork to be processed, but at the same time, once an artwork is done, they want that order to be converted as a digitizing. So if you can click on a complete, so if you can go to completed and pick any of those vector. Yeah, I think the first one, yeah. So now, for example, this particular job, it has come to us as initially as a vector. And you said, okay, everything is fine. You want this order to be converted as in digitizing. You don't have to re-enter any of this information. All you have to do is go, Jimmy, if you can go up, there is actually a button on the top which says approved for digitizing. So what the system does is it automatically converts at that particular artwork order into a digitizing order and place it for the processing. Okay, I think that's it for the workflow.
We got some pretty decent questions here. And Ish, is there a price difference between same day or next day?
Yes, we do have. So if you can, if you go to the profile, okay. So if you look at the profile, the icon, you can, this is, as I said, it's an API-based system. We can speak more about the API. So we have actually included the pricing as part of the profile itself. So it lists all the pricing between the same day and the next day. So a user knows it exactly what they're going to get charged for. So the answer to question Ian is actually yes. The same day and next day, there are 2 different pricings for it.
And how are changes included in the pricing? Like if there's changes?
See, right this point of time, any fixes. There are 2 in our system. There are 2 segments that we have. One is called fixes, and the other is called customer requested changes. Typically, if it is the minor changes, that is, we don't, it just takes us less than 10-15 minutes. We don't charge anything. But if it is some changes which come back, which we need more than 30 minutes worth of production time to fix the CRC. See, when I say CRC, it's a customer requested changes. We add a change request as a $5 as a standard fee for that, but we don't put it back as a normal fee. But sometimes we see that initially there's a design, but it come back completely no difference. Then we send that information back to the customer saying that input was like an apple. Now it has turned out to be something different. How do you want to do it? But if it is answer to the question, if it's a minor changes and minor bugs, we don't charge it. We just let it go. But anything which needs additional time, more than 30 minutes, then there is a $5 fee that has been applied into it. And the other theory that we follow on it, for example, that is if the total price value is $5, and if it come back to a revision, we don't charge a $5, we charge the half of the price. So for example, the initial price was $3 and it takes us more than 30 minutes to fix the problem. The edit fee is going to be only $1.5.
Sure, makes sense. Okay, and then what about requesting color backgrounds? Do you have like a color chart for that, or is there a limit on what you can request as far as background color?
When you say background color, are we talking about the thread colors or?
Richard had asked this one.
But if you're asking specifically on the threads to be added on an embroidery or an artwork or a colors, there's no limit for us for that. But I think that's not the question that he's asked for.
I think it's the substrate. It's the material that it's going on.
Yeah, that kind of would be my guess.
And there's a
Uh,
limit to that.
When it comes to an embroidery running sample, or is it going to be different garments they want the samples to be done? So the current structure is only for a one color. If the question is specifically for an embroidery digitizing, it runs on one single specific color. I mean, for example, if somebody places an order, it says, I want this to be run on a navy blue twill, we do it one. But if you're asking for a second color to be added, then there is, because you have to rerun the whole design on a different garment, there will be additional charges for that.
What about communication? If something's placed on hold, or what processes or do they receive emails for notification of every step moving through the process?
Yes. I mean, whenever there is an action change for a particular order, when we call it projects, every time the system will trigger an email back. I mean, for example, if you place an order, there is a notification that goes to the user saying that the order is placed. When an order is completed, it sends a notification saying that it is completed. If it is on hold, it will send out an hold, saying that, hey, we couldn't process it because we need additional information. So technically it is triggering those information in an email, but they'll have to come to the system to make changes, because we want this information to be staying in the system. Because, like, for example, on hold, we say it's on hold, but in that email, we never mentioned why it is on hold, for the simple reason you will send out an email which is outside the system, because then the whole automated workflow will fail eventually. So we want user to come into the system and fix the problem.
And then how long does it take for quotes to be done? What's your average?
Quotes typically take 2 hours to 4 hours. It doesn't take too long. Anytime you place a quote, it should come back in 2 hours time. But that's on an average timing that we put it on a quote.
Okay, is the digitizing, is it auto scanned? Is it done by hand? How do you guys do that?
We do hand digitizing, and if this question is specifically for digitizing, we offer 4 different applications. One is Wilcom, second is Melco, third is Pulse, and fourth is Ethos. So, whoever is in the apparel side of the business, they know exactly what I'm talking about. We can give you a parent files on all 4 applications. If we don't do auto digitizing, we do hand digitizing. And we also do digitizing based on the garment specification. So, if it is a design which is running on a twill, there's going to be different settings and specifications we follow. If it is running on a stretchable material, definitely it is going to be a different settings that we follow. So, answer to the question: hand digitizing, garment specific digitizing, and we can also give you parent files. If someone is required parent files, we can supply you that. So for example, if it is Wilcom, we can even give you an E4 version of the files to be processed.
Excellent. When a quote is requested, does it show up as a quote request under the dashboard tab?
It will be, yes. I mean, any quotes that has been placed, it will be under. So for example, if you place a request for quote, it will be listed under the requested. Once that particular project is completed so we quoted that, it will start, the same request will come under need approval. So
Okay.
which will include the pricing details, and the user can approve the quote, or they can reject a quote, or they can resubmit a quote. Modified quote can be submitted.
All right, excellent. And how about voice support? Do you have a phone line? Is there any type of?
Yes, we do have a phone line. Yeah.
What are the hours for that? Is it available normal North American time frame or 24-hour?
We work 24/6. That's our timing. So, our customer service is open on 24/6 because we support across US. We have clients based out of Europe. So, our services is only not available on Sundays, but other than 24/6, we are operational.
Okay, and then next question, will you give a quote before proceeding with an order if a quote isn't specifically requested? I assume that means they're starting the order. Are you going to quote a price before any work's done?
No, I mean, quote is on demand, because normally, because in our billing system, if you look at it, we don't have a minimum pricing as such. So, for example, if you are submitting a digitizing order, which is like a 2,000, normally I don't see many people using quote, because it's a straightforward digitizing. On an average, our industry is like, if you're looking at it, it's anywhere between 5,000 to 6,000 is our average stitch count for an embroidery design. So if you're doing a $2, you can estimate, that's the pricing. So most of the people avoid the quoting function. They will go straight and place an order. So if a user want an information on what needs to be charged, then you can place it. If it is not, then you can straight away put a job and then you're done with it.
Okay, great. And then I assume that the hours and time zone are the same as with the voice, with the phone support.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Customer service, because everything in our process is funneled through our customer service, so they are available throughout the day and night.
Okay. The fee for revisions, is there an explanation on the site for reference for that? Someplace where you can get an idea?
Revisions, normally it is, we capped at a $5 price. We don't go over beyond that $5. If, again, it's something which is taking us too much of time to process, then only we charge it. Otherwise, we normally don't charge the revisions. And it's a flat fee model. And again, I mean, if we get to see an input which is completely different, we will go back to them and say that, hey, it's two different things.
Right. So there'll be communication with the customer.
Right. Absolutely.
Is Binated offering anything for Promo EQP to encourage sign up and test run other than pricing?
Actually, on that one, you know what? I'll take a stab on that one if you're okay with that, Anish.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One of the main things for us when we were looking at and deciding on establishing and moving forward on this relationship comes down to the fact that what Anish and what Binated are ultimately out there doing is really legitimately trying to make sure that they establish the relationship. And I personally believe that one of the key sticky points that a distributor has at their availability at all points in times, though not necessarily using the strength of it, is access to their buyer's artwork. And to be able to have the relationship where that artwork is reliably done, stored, easily accessible, with a partner that's dedicated to working with you on that, that to me fit every single one of the key elements that we wanted to establish for Promo EQP. To the extent of the question that Ian had just posed out there, and I also think it goes along
It's 11 o'clock.
I think it also goes along with the quote upon demand request on an initial order, is that what Anish has been good enough to do, and we haven't announced it until we are able to actually have this webinar, is to do a risk-free order on the art. I think that one, I would have rejected offering a free first-time trial thing, because I tend to believe that free first-time things feel a little gimmicky. But a company that's willing to stand up and support the work that they do and willingly offer a risk-free access to that inside of an order, that to me was something that was significant, was remarkable, and to me, we appreciate it.
So just a couple more here. And
well,
I think
hold on real quick, because we have hit that 30-minute mark.
Wow.
Anybody who wants access to continue, we're going to keep asking the questions, but I also know that we wanted to make sure that we respected the 30-minute mark. So I'm putting that out there. We're going to continue recording, and Anish, for as long as you're available, we'll ask the questions. But outside of that, everybody, we asked for 30 minutes of your time, and I appreciate the fact that you gave it to us.
So I think you addressed this before, Anish, but just to clarify, can you set up an account without credit card info up front? And can you get to the pricing page without registering?
See, at this point of time, our systems are designed in a way that it's a pay as you go kind of a model. And I mean, to me, honestly, we wanted to make sure that it's more convenient for a user to come in and place an order and make the payment. The whole process works much more faster. And it's one of the main objectives. The second objective is we wanted to make sure that we want genuine customers coming into the system, because if we open up the window in a different way, there's going to be influx of people coming in. We wanted to make sure that we respect that integrity in a way that there are people wanted to willing to do that, because everything, as rightly said in Jeremy, like if an order doesn't meet your or we cannot add value to you, let us know, we will credit that, because then whole workflows work much better having all those informations built into it. So answer to your question, Ian, is right now the way it is structured is we would need a credit card to be entered. That way the whole processes can work without any hindrance.
All right. Do you guys offer from scratch artwork services? Do you offer any creative services?
Yes, absolutely. Because if you look at the new decorations menu, there's one of the option is called creative, where you give us a storyboard, we build artwork based on the scratch.
So Jeff's little joke at the beginning actually could be played out.
Right. He just got it.
Could you help fix my logo? Make it prettier.
I think that can happen. And then a good question from Lisa. Once somebody's signed up, are they going to be inundated with marketing emails from you, or is it going to be morely transactional?
We don't send, probably that is one of the reasons that most of the distributors don't know Binated too much, because we stayed away from that process of sending email blasts, giving you free, that's not our forte. We don't want to do any of that. And we don't do that.
Awesome to hear it.
Yeah. So I think we actually got through the questions, right, Ian?
Yeah, that's everything. One more. You mentioned virtual assistants. Is this something we can get more information on, the virtual assistant stuff, perhaps a future webinar?
Sure. If anybody needs more information on it, so when if you want to know more about Binated, because that's our services. If you look at our Binated, there are 3 different verticals that we run in the company. One is purely technology, where we create APIs, we connect with systems, workflow engineering. The second one is the back office support, which could be, we call it a support services. It could start from right from an order entry, order tracking, order management, liaisoning with vendors. A lot of people use us for that. The graphic services is a third vertical. So if anybody wants to get more details on it, I'm more than happy to go over all of those.
I'm so glad that question came up, because that's kind of the part 2 to the relationship with Binated, and it will be, there's just so many great services that you were able to provide to the industry, and so I'm glad that came up. And as we put a kind of big bow on this, we know that this artwork services and graphic services, it's frankly one of the most hoard things out there. You mentioned the marketing emails come up, get this free, about I get them all the time, and I'm shielded from a lot of those. Binated's a first-class company, and it's been really great to get to know them, and Rod Brown has been instrumental in helping us to understand how he's helped their large company be successful using these services. So I think in wrapping it up, if there's nothing else to add, I just want to say I'm getting signed up. I still am doing stuff. So I'm excited about using Binated services. And the thing is, it's more than just the graphic services. It's how easy it is to manage the artwork and keep everything in one place. And if you go into part 2 with order management, it all syncs together, and that's going to be a blessing to many. So that's it for me.
Awesome.